Last time on Hollywood Guns, we unleashed the fury of the Colt M16 and M203 grenade launcher, an unstoppable force in the climactic final scene of Scarface. If you missed it, click on the thumbnail at the end of this episode to witness that legendary firearm in all its glory. But today we're stepping out of the spotlight and into the shadows to explore Tony Montana's lesser-known companion. Why did the filmmakers choose this Italian masterpiece over its more popular sibling? And how true to life was its portrayal on the big screen? In this episode, I'll break down everything: the history, the craftsmanship, and its other appearances in blockbuster films that cemented its legacy. And stay with me to the end, where we'll uncover how the Beretta Cheetah series' cinematic journey culminated in a masterpiece, a pivotal role in a movie that forever changed Hollywood in 1999. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the small but mighty Italian supermodel, the Beretta 81.
Hello and welcome to Hollywood Guns. I'm your host Wilson. Whether you're into action flicks, classic thrillers, or unforgettable TV shows, this is the place where movie magic meets real-world firearms.
History of the Beretta 81. To start, let's do a quick safety check. Gun is empty, and we can begin. Before we dive into its role in Scarface, let's talk about the origins and history of the Beretta 81. The Beretta 81 is a 12-round semi-automatic pistol introduced as part of the 80 series of Cheetah pistols in 1976. While this series predominantly featured pistols chambered in .380 ACP, such as the Beretta 84 and 85, the 81 and 82 were specifically designed for the .32 ACP cartridge. Although many American shooters consider the .32 ACP to be underpowered, it was originally designed by firearm pioneer and legend Mr. John Browning in 1899. And this caliber gained widespread acceptance among European police and military forces, remaining a popular service round well into the 1980s. The Beretta 84, which became the most popular Cheetah variant in the US, is nearly identical to the 81, differing only in its caliber. The 84 is chambered in .380 ACP, and this distinction will become more relevant later on in the video as we examine the 84's prominence in Hollywood movies compared to the lesser-known Beretta 81.
I'm not out in 15 minutes. Something's wrong. Okay? Room 9. You ready? Sure. Let go.
The 81 took design cues, both in form and function, from the company's renowned Beretta 92, launched exactly the same year, 1976. And both feature this open slide design, which reduces jamming from the ejection port, and also a non-tilting barrel system where instead of the barrel tipping towards the magazine, which you can see there, the magazine actually comes all the way up to the barrel, allows the round to just go straight into the chamber of the barrel rather than having to come up a ramp, which sometimes leads to failure to feeds in a lot of weapons. Actually, that was one of the main reasons why the 92, I believe, won the M9 contract back in the 80s, this straight through design of the cartridge straight into the breech. Anyway, when you put the two together, let me just do that for you. You put the two together side by side, it's the physical side difference which really makes it obvious what the purpose of the 81 model was in comparison to the 92. This is an easily concealable firearm in comparison to its larger 92 sibling. And in the movie, that's how we see sort of Tony. He carries this slipped inside his waistband. So the double action long pull of the first shot makes this an ideal and very safe weapon to be carried this way, with a round chambered actually in the firearm already. Now there is one challenge with that the design of the 81 doesn't carry forward from the 92. In the 92, when the pistol is locked and ready to shoot, we have a decocking function that safely drops the hammer without engaging the trigger to stop the round being fired. Now, with the 81, we don't have a decocking mechanism. Instead, just there we have a traditional kind of 1911 style safety. And in order to carry the pistol locked but decocked, you have to effectively pull the trigger and wait for the trigger to engage, and then it doesn't want to go. Oh, there we go, got it going. And then you've got to safely drop the hammer on that round, and then that long double action trigger will be available to you like that for the first pull. I'm sure that I know this is definitely nowhere near as a safe way to get the gun ready to be carried, and I'm sure has accounted for a lot of negligent discharges with people, that didn't do a very good job of dropping the hammer like that without actually firing a round.
So stop.
¡No te muevas, cabroncito!
Páralo en el baño, ahora.
Oh, front face. You just fucked yourself. You steal from your day.
Yeah? Okay. You going to give me the cash? Or do I kill your brother first? Before I kill you.
Why don't you try sticking your head up your ass? See if it fits.
Yeah?
Here is another pistol that is a clone of the Beretta 80 series. This is the Browning BDA. I like to bring this one out every now and then because it doesn't really feature prominently in any major movies, but itself is a very unique firearm. As far as I know, it's the only gun to have 3 manufacturers' roll marks on it. Here it has Fabrique Nationale Herstal, who redesigned the Cheetah series, and you see how they went with this kind of closed slide design that's much more in keeping with FN's Browning high power design that it took design cues from. So anyway, it has FN on one side here. The other roll mark that it has is the Browning Arms Company here, which is the brand which it was sold under in the USA. And then of course it has PB for Beretta, their logo as well, and then the gun made in Italy. Anyways, when you look at the 3 here, interested to know which one do you like best and why?
No, don't kill me, please. I will kill you.
Oh, great, thank you.
Get up.
Thank you.
No, shoot that piece of chip.
No.
Every dog has his day. Amor.
I told him.
While I can't find details on which caliber was used, globally, the Beretta 80 series gained adoption with several agencies around the world. Italian police forces often use the Beretta Cheetah models for concealed carry duties and for female officers, while civilian users appreciated its combination for craftsmanship and ergonomics. It was also apparently exported to nations like Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and South Africa, often serving as a secondary or a backup weapon. There's a lot of subscribers on this channel now from around the world, so if you carried a Beretta 80 in service of your country, or you have knowledge on which agencies use certain models, please post a comment and let us know your thoughts. Oh, and while I'm on the subject, did you know that on average, only 5 to 10% of viewers on YouTube actually subscribe to the channels that they watch videos for? So if you're enjoying this video and you haven't already, please do me a favor at this point and hit pause, scroll up and hit the subscribe button so that you'll be notified of other videos on the channel. Go on. I'll wait. I'll hold on for a second while you do that. Thanks very much. Why the gun was chosen for the movie. So, why did Scarface director Brian De Palma and his prop team choose the Beretta 81 for the movie? Well, according to the urban legend, the decision likely ties back to screenwriter Oliver Stone. You may know that Scarface is a remake of the 1932 film of the same name, centered around an Italian immigrant rising to power in Chicago's underworld. Of course, that is a story inspired by the life of Al Capone. And legend has it that on page 158 of Stone's original script, a specific note highlighted in red ink by the prop master called for an Italian Beretta to be used as a nod to the original movie. Expanding upon this with my own original thoughts, I believe the choice of the Beretta 81 may be even more deliberate, as the 32 ACP caliber it was chambered in was a far more popular round in Europe and especially Italy during that time. While the 380 calibered Beretta 84 may have been a more commonly recognized caliber in the US, the 32 ACP caliber could also have added additional authenticity, to the film's homage from the original 1932 movie, as it was that very popular cartridge, especially in the first half of the 20th century.
You fucked up.
Don't go too far, Tony.
I ain't not, man. You are. Can't shoot a cop. Whoever said you was one? Wait a minute!
Prop used in the movie versus my example. On screen is a picture of the original Model 81 used in Scarface, and as you can see, after a quick wardrobe change, I have dressed mine in a set of period-correct Packmeyer grips. So now, my firearm looks exactly the same as the one in the movie.
Now you let me go, I'll fix this up.
Sure, man. Maybe you can handle yourself one of them first-class tickets to the resurrection.
Fucking punk. Son of a bitch.
So long, man. Have a good trip.
Fuck you!
Accuracy of the firearm portrayal in the movie. We see Tony carrying the Model 81 in 3 scenes. The first is Tony's first major drug deal which goes wrong with Hector the Toad. The second where Tony uses it to shoot Frank Lopez's hitman in the Babylon Club, and the third where Tony takes revenge upon Frank and shoots his associate Mel Bernstein after attaching a suppressor to it. Presumably, although we don't see it clearly, Tony also uses the gun in the scenes where he shoots Sosa's hitman in the car after realizing they're about to assassinate a woman and children, plus in the murder of his longtime associate Manny. First category, firearm capacity. The first category assesses whether the movie accurately depicts the amount of ammunition each gun could hold. This includes whether reloads were shown appropriately or if the weapon appeared to fire an unrealistic or unlimited number of rounds without reloading. As you would expect by now, I counted up all the shots from the scenes. In the first scene, Tony doesn't use the gun as it was actually confiscated by Hector and dropped into the case which was carrying the coke. The third scene is just 2 shots, but it's the second scene at the Babylon Club that I paid close attention to. I can count 12 or 13 shots, which is actually the capacity of the magazine, or the +1 for the round in the chamber. Tony doesn't reload as he chooses to quickly flee the club instead after emptying the mag. Take a look for yourself. In my opinion, no points dropped here, grade A. The second category examines whether the impacts of the shots fired matched the realistic effects of the firearm's caliber. For example, a 12-gauge shotgun might knock a person backwards, but a 9mm round is not going to send someone flying. As I previously noted, the 32 ACP round is considered by many modern shooters as underpowered and with very little stopping power, compared to the modern 9mm loads or larger calibers like the 45 ACP. So I actually think the movie does a really good job here of accurately portraying the round's effects on Tony's enemies. In the Babylon Club scene, Tony has to put several shots into the legs and then the bodies of the hitmen to render them out of the fight. And in the final scene where he shoots Mel, his first shot is a gut shot, and we see Mel plead for his life for about a minute before Tony places a final coup de grace in his left chest. Now, I'm not a ballistics expert, but this use of multiple rounds strikes me as realistic to what I would expect. Seeing as there are no scenes where a bullet impact defies the laws of physics, nor one where they get a hit in a solid spot, but somehow the guy just walks it off, I can't find anything to deduct points on here either. So, another grade A. The final category evaluates whether it's reasonable to expect the character to make the shots they attempted, particularly at extended distances. This considers whether hitting the target was plausible or if it was highly improbable based on the character's skills and the firearm used. Well, this one's pretty easy to score too. In the third scene, the shots are all within a few yards, and in the second scene at the Babylon Club, while they're at a longer distance, Tony has to take several shots to tag his opponents, and I really like the fact that because he's on the floor and taking cover, he chops them down from the legs first and then finishes them off with shots to the body. Another category that commentators on the channel have asked me to consider in this section as well is, does the actor blink a lot when he shoots, betraying a lack of firearms experience known as the startle reflex? Well, actually, I watched that scene a couple of times and obviously Tony does blink, you have to blink, but for most of it, he is wide-eyed, almost psychotic, and so as he fires away. So I think that his portrayal is also very realistic in that category. So anyway, I can't find much to complain about, so I'm gonna go with another A for this category. Overall grade for the realism of the Beretta 81's portrayal in the movie Scarface, surprising, but it's a grade A.
You got nothing on me. You know it, I know it.
Other movies and scenes the firearm was used in. This segment highlights one of the key reasons I wanted to showcase the lesser-known Beretta 81 from Scarface. Pivoting from the 32 ACP model to the other variants in the Cheetah series, chambered in more powerful calibers, let's focus on the Beretta 84 in .380. This model has appeared in numerous films, often as a concealed carry option or a backup weapon. While rarely intended to steal the spotlight, it has carved out an impressive Hollywood resume. Notable appearances included Charles Bronson in Death Wish 2 and Jack Nicholson in The Departed. Andy Garcia carried Cheetah series in 2 major films, an 81 like this in The Godfather Part 3 and an 84 in 1990's Internal Affairs. Even Bruce Willis, typically associated with the Beretta 92 that you could see here, used the suppressed 84 in The Jackal from 1997. One reoccurring theme in the Cheetah series' cinematic use is its frequent selection as a sidearm for female supporting actresses. Examples include Catherine Hicks in Child's Play, Lara Flynn Boyle in The Rookie, and Courtney Love in Trapped. While it occasionally takes on a more prominent role, such as Melanie Griffith's character in the cult classic Cherry 2000, its biggest starring moment came in The Matrix. Trinity, played by Carrie-Anne Moss, wielded a pair of Beretta 84S FS pistols as her signature sidearms. Their smaller size compared to Neo's Beretta 92s, again shown here, made them ideal for her acrobatic fighting style and smaller feminine frame. Think back to 1999 when The Matrix premiered. CGI and bullet time were groundbreaking, leaving audiences utterly captivated. Few outside of John Woo's devoted fanbase had seen action choreography like this, and the opening sequence to this movie simply dropped our jaws and blew our minds.
Only human.
Dodge this.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a wrap. If you're enjoying this channel and want to help financially support it, the best way you can do that is either send a donation via YouTube Super Thanks or browse the Hollywood Guns store in the YouTube application. Right now I have a base range of official logo merchandise, but depending on when you view this, you should hopefully see our exclusive range of Hollywood Guns episode t-shirts featuring famous firearms and the movie one-liners that they're associated with. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next episode.
You want to waste my time? Okay. I call my lawyer. He's the best lawyer in Miami. He's such a good lawyer that by tomorrow morning, you're going to be working in Alaska. So dress warm.